why are you excited to be here tonight?
Because I'm just excited.
Yeah. No other explanation. Now, I do believe, tell me the truth, is it true that your dad has a ringside seat but didn't get you guys ringside seats?
That is true, but it's because of his YouTube channel, okay? It's his YouTube, okay?
Her dad's an influencer. Let him go, guys. But your dad's awesome, right?
Yeah.
See, he's awesome. Yeah! Give it up for Claire. Thank you so much.
Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's the radioactive Poppy Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance vlog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Poppy.
Well, yes, that is me. No, I didn't mean to leave that on. And if I could figure out how to turn it off, I would. Where's the button? There it is. Hey, everybody. Whoa, way, oh, way. It's the pre-party. My name is J Cal. Every Tuesday, I'm here on YouTube. Almost every Tuesday. I'm here on YouTube. I'm here on Twitch. I'm here on Kick to talk all things NWA with my hashtag NWA family, the NWA fam. And we are here. We are live. We are live. I'm alive, guys. I survived my trip to Curacao. You might not have heard of Curacao like yet, but I will tell you this, in like 5 years, that is going to be the vacation destination for everybody. Out, man, 85-degree temperatures from dusk till dawn. It never got cold. And during the day, the humidity would take the temperatures up to like 100 degrees. But it was like, the thermostat said 80, but the humidity said differently. And beautiful beaches, beautiful sunrise, sunsets. My wife was beautiful. My kids are beautiful. Everything was great. Got to swim. I saw Dory from Little Nemo in the ocean. It was amazing. But that's enough about me. Let's talk about you. That hashtag NWA fan. We're talking NWA Power. What'd I miss? I was incognito. I had no intranet or very little internet. My phone didn't work, period. Couldn't make phone calls. I was in Curacao. It was a 4-hour time difference. I'm just now getting back to it, man. I'm just trying to get to it. My phone's blowing up because someone's at my door. Hey, thanks for all the likes and everything, guys, on TikTok. We're also streaming on TikTok as well. Let's do the Willie Bowen joke of the day. Hey, Jake, I'm glad you had a great Thanksgiving. Thank God Tyrus doesn't know your address. Tyrus couldn't get here, man, because I wasn't here myself. I was in Curacao. The funny thing is the city that I was in was called like Steenkiewicz or something like that. And I'm like, great. Even now, I'm still getting Kevin Steen references. Rosville's in the house. Like I said, Willie Bowen is here. Rosville says, here for the show. I'm not that pleased with Corgan's booking again. Yeah. Billy Corgan is a great guitarist. He's a mediocre singer, a very interesting lyricist, and a terrible wrestling booker. Sean Mega's in the house. Sam Retro's here. What's up, fellas? Zilla's in the house. Thanks for stopping by, Zilla. Let's see. Noob is in the house. What's up, Noob? Bobby Matito's here. The Iron Shrek. The Baba Shrieky Baby. That's probably the worst Iron Sheik impression ever. He's here and he says, unable to talk, final day of work. I'm glad that you have work. I don't know if it's a good thing that's your final day or not, but congratulations one way or the other. Like I said, Bobby Bettino's here. Bobby, thank you for welcoming me back, man. It's good to be back. One thing that I've always can appreciate when I get to go on vacation, when I get to explore the world, is that I miss home. I love my home. I love my family. I love being here in the state that I live in the country that I live in, which is the United States and California. I don't always agree with the politics of the world, but I can appreciate the freedoms that I have when I do get here back home, and I'm very happy to be here. Yeah, so that's cool. Sam Retro says, we finally get another Texas promotion. Yeah, it sounds like it. Retro says, where's that located, Jay? And I'm getting blown up here. Where's that located? Curacao is in the Caribbean. It is next to Aruba, if I'm saying that correctly, right off the coast of Venezuela. And it's part of the ABC Islands. Aruba, Bermuda. I don't even know how to say it now. Bermuda and Curacao. In fact, probably could take the British Commonwealth title to Bermuda for a title defense, but not to Curacao. Curacao is like a Dutch-controlled island, too, so that's kind of interesting. A lot of Dutch, a lot of stuff from the Netherlands. Anyways, the great Hisa's here. What's up, Hisa? Bobby says, Latimer defended the world's title on the last episode of Power. Retro says, I'll be heading to chill without St. Louis from far. Oh, cool, man. That's cool, Retro. And I hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving, too. I didn't even have turkey. My wife's going to make Thanksgiving dinner for us sometime, I think, in the next few days. California is amazing, Willie. For anyone who's never been here, you should check it out. But Devin Daly says, hey, yo, hope the vacay was great, brother. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Yeah, man. I hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving. NWA World Tag Team Champions defended on Power 2. That's cool. Coming back from your vacation looking like a new Jay. I can't scream. So the entire time I was there, felt great. The nice, humid, hot weather. Like my bones were feeling good. I was looking good. I was eating. I was drinking. I felt like Ric Flair. Woo! Styling, profiling on the island. Woo! And then I got in the airplane on the way home and got sick. I haven't been feeling good since. I ate, drank, belched, and slept on Thanksgiving Day. Nice, Willie. I was stationed in San Diego for 8 years in the Navy. Okay, Willie, so you know. The world's women's title match was good, but the ending was BS. Yeah, it happens like that. Yeah, my phone is blown up. Sorry, guys, can't get to that right now. I just like the video on YouTube. First of all, be like Bobby Bettino and give this video a thumbs up, a like, a comment, subscribe, and leave a comment after the video's over too. It all helps with that algorithm. And if you guys like what you're watching here, the best way to get more of it is to subscribe so you can see it all the time. And second, the ATF media says, who is Hands of Stone Ronnie Garvin wrestling? I want to pick an outfit for their funeral. That's amazing, too. I haven't heard Ron Garvin's name in a couple of months. We were talking about him a few months ago. We were talking about world's heavyweight champions, lame duck champions. And it sucks because Garvin was a bad dude. He was a bad dude, but his title reign was very short-lived and not really he didn't get a good run as champion. The storyline leading up to it was great, but him as champion, not so much. Yeah, Willie, of course, thank you for your service. Much respect for you when it comes to that. I just realized that is up there, and that's bothering me. We don't like the logo in the top screen. There we go. Oh, wow, I just realized the camera's showing off the... oh, no! You guys got to see a little bit of the closet studio. We have a small wrestling here in Edithville, Kentucky called Big Time Wrestling. I've heard of Big Time Wrestling. I wouldn't consider that a small place. That's a pretty big one. You guys got to see some of my wife's clothing in the back. The thing with Hands of Stone Ronnie Garvin is that he punched people in the face. ATF, man, I like you. Please hang out in this show a little bit more. We like that. Willie, again, thanks for your service, brother. That is much appreciated. Ricky Morton and George South just defeated Joey Janela and AJ Francis at WrestleCade. What are we talking about here? AJ Francis and Joey Janela as a tag team? What is going on? Remember when AJ Francis showed up to wrestle at NWA, and he showed up to be kind of like he was talking about how he was friends with Brian Idol, and then proceeded to talk nonstop shit about him the entire time. It was awesome. You said Kylie Ray, and you were right. She did get ID'd. That wasn't last week. That was about 2 weeks ago, because we talked about that on the pre-party when that happened. But there is some news about the NWA Kylie Alexxa. Unfortunately for Kylie, bad news. She got hurt recently at the Wrestlecade event. There's a lot. Wrestlecade is a very interesting thing, man, because there's so much wrestling going on, and the wrestlers from everywhere show up, right? Like, we got wrestlers from AEW and GCW and the NWA and MLW, and all these talents kind of, they just come into North Carolina as part of Wrestlecade weekend. It's been happening for many years now. And Retro said, man, Wrestlecade was dope. And honestly, if Billy could pull some strings, he should somehow get like some sort of connection with Wrestlecade and make that an NWA event. But anyways, she got hurt. Kylie Alexxa got hurt, the sister of Kenzie Paige, the sister of the Women's World Champion. Now tonight on Power, her and Markova and Hollyhood Haley J will be competing for the number one contender spot for the Women's World Championship in the National Wrestling Alliance. And I don't know, like, obviously, the great thing about the NWA is they've been doing all these pre-taped programs. Like, they did Crockett Cup in Forney, Texas. They did the Return to the Indies. I think that was in, I want to say Tennessee somewhere. They did the 76th anniversary show, the matches that were happening at Riot Fest, the live events that happened in Chicago. All this stuff has been going on, and the results get hidden. Like, they don't talk about it, and no one knows what's going on until we see the TV tapings air. Everyone is so tight-lipped about that, and I don't know why the NWA gets that chate with the audience, with the fans. Like, we announced the winners on the 76 as it was happening. TK and I were communicating back and forth through Messenger, and he was posting results as they were happening live in Philly. And I get some people don't want the spoilers, and that's okay. Like, I understand that too. I don't discuss the spoilers here on the show, but it was cool to have that information available. I think that's, it helps people be excited about the product as well. But I haven't seen any results from the shows in Tampa. I don't know what happened at Saw Win. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen. And if Kylie Alexxa got hurt, that's going to prevent her from participating at Looks at Kill. Like, she might be there as a manager, hanging out with her sister, but I don't think she'll be an in-ring competitor for some time. And, I think Double D said her batter just out for a little bit. I think she broke her shoulder or injured her shoulder significantly enough to require her to have medical treatment on it. So, I don't know. ATF Media says, I agreed to wrestle Ric Flair and Ricky Morton in a handicap match, but the FBI warned me it would be elder abuse. The FBI? I can just picture that. Steve G, what's up, Steve? Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I know we don't talk about the WWE here, but y'all see the New Day kick out Big E last night. One of the best WWE segments in a long time. I didn't see it live, but I did see clips of it on the X, and it was a very surreal moment because Big E, who's bigger than life, overcoming the neck injury. I don't know if we'll ever see him wrestle again, and they did him dirty. I mean, they did that for a reason because they're trying to convince us that the New Day are now heels and we shouldn't be cheering them. And Big E is such a lovable character. So I understand why they did it. It felt like a low blow. It felt like a low blow. Let's see. That was an intentional Double D. I'm all stuffed up, man. That airplane ride back from so we flew in. We left Curacao at the plane boarded at 11. No, the plane boarded at 2. We got there at 11. We got there way earlier than we needed to get there, but because it's an international flight, my wife was convinced we needed to be there a couple hours early. So we stayed at that airport for like 2 or 3 hours before we were boarded. Then we went to North Carolina and had delays on the flight coming in. And then we got stuck in North Carolina for a little bit. On the way home, we got stuck taxiing for that flight as well. So like between the airports and the airplanes, I spent like 24 hours legitimately between North Carolina, Curacao, Phoenix, Arizona, and finally coming home on Sunday, getting home at 8:30. So imagine this. There's a 4-hour time difference between where I'm at right now in California versus Curacao. So on the island, when we got to the airport at 11, that was technically like 7 a.m. California time, West Coast time. We were in the airport and on a plane until Sunday at 8:30 a.m. is when we got off the airplane. So like literally 24 hours either in the air or in an airport, and being around that many people with that many contagions, I'm lucky I'm just this sick. Yeah, I'm not feeling great. I mean, I feel great other than I'm all congested, but I digress. I don't know how like wrestlers do it, to be quite honest. And, during COVID, anytime I traveled, I did wear a mask. And I think I'm going to go back to that because I never got sick on a plane when I was wearing a mask. Ryan Davis is here. What's up, Ryan Davis? Little Guido going to GCW talking FBI. There it is. Noob says, try looking up the results of Saw win on Google. No dice. Yeah, I've looked everywhere, man. It's not. You can't find it. That entire 3-person fiasco is irritating right now. Are you talking about New Day or are you talking about Markova, Nieves, and Paige? Paige and Nieves should have been booked differently. I agree with that. Everyone's saying it's way past due for Markova, and I agree, man. I think Markova, they should have pulled the trigger a little bit sooner. But I still think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see it at Looks at Kill. In fact, I'm going to say it right now. It's going to happen. Looks at Kill. That cage match is going to be for the title. And that's without knowing anything else. I just have a feeling. I could be wrong. Bobby Mattino says, I'd like to see Mecha Wolf has another match on NWA Power. Yeah, so Mecha Wolf, somebody who I particularly enjoy. I try to support that guy as much as I can. I mean, geez, I bought his coloring book. Did you guys know that? He had a coloring book? It's a little bit dusty. Oh, no. I just killed my TIE fighter. Yeah, Mecha Wolf had a coloring book. Alexxa Graphic Press presents a dual-language coloring storybook, The Legend of Mecha Wolf. Yeah. I support my guy. I bought his T-shirts too. Bought them on the NWA and bought them at a wrestling event. So I try to support my guy. And I do think that I don't think Mecha Wolf is done with the NWA, but I think currently they just don't have a storyline for him. There's no need to keep bringing him in when they don't have a program for him. I saw earlier someone mentioned Bestia, Says. He is pretty much stays in Tijuana. He does do a few dates in SoCal, Southern California, does a lot of the independent scene out here. But for the most part, he is not a guy that you're going to see, wrestling all over the world. He's a family man, and his family's in TJ. And I think that's part of the reason why he's consistently on those cards for the Crash. He's on the cards for Lucha Libre. He's on the card for Lucha Libre AAA when they're in Tijuana. Let's see. Yes, Wrestlecade already took place, Ryan Davis. That was over Thanksgiving weekend. It's kind of been a tradition for like the last, I want to say 10 years. And before that, the NWA Legends, which is not connected to the National Wrestling Alliance, used to do conventions around Thanksgiving time as well, paying homage to Starrcade and the historical relevancy Thanksgiving has with the National Wrestling Alliance. As our good friend Championship Wrestling from Jeremy says, don't forget to like, share, and after the stream, leave a comment. It helps with Al Gore's rhythm. Yeah, man. That guy can't dance for shit, so anything you can do to help would appreciate it. If the Intercontinental Champion wrestles the TV Champion in a match on a different continent but on TV, which is the favorite? I like how you're thinking, media. It depends on which continent. If it's South America, it's easily an Intercontinental victory. If it's a TV, if it's on the Northern continent, like a Eurasia, we're going with the state-controlled media. Yeah. Let's see. You guys, Steve G says MLW is coming to SoCal. I don't know how I feel about that. Sorry, I needed to take a drink of water. I was very parched. I don't know how I feel about MLW coming to Los Angeles because I know that deal was brokered through Vince. Jesus, what is wrong with me? That deal was brokered through Dave Marquez. The Commerce Casino is a Dave Marquez building. That's a building that Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, the United Wrestling Network, has run consistently throughout their last decade here in Southern California. They're not always there, right? They're not there every week, but they've done a lot with that building, going back to when they were still NWA Hollywood. And, Dave Marquez also produced fights in that building as well. And so that building to me is a Dave Marquez building. The fact that MLW, after firing Dave Marquez, who brokered that deal, by the way, to get them in LA, they're still coming to that building. I have mixed feelings about it, the Battle Riot. And look, I know a lot of people that I know are going to be there. And, I'm a big Bad Dude Tito fan, so part of me wants to go to that show just to see him wrestle at MLW. And the fact that MLW has never been to Los Angeles before, and although they've done stuff in Tijuana, I've never been able to go to those events. So it'd be the first time I could see MLW, a promotion that I've been following since 2000, when Steve Corino was still wrestling for them. Yeah, I mean, I'm torn because I don't like the way they treated my pal Dave Marquez. But at the same time, it's a promotion that I've watched for a very long time, and I kind of want to see them and see what they do in Los Angeles. WrestleCon is during WrestleMania weekend. Okay, Sam Retro, I think we had a misunderstanding there. I think maybe I'm wrong, but I think Ryan Davis meant Wrestlecade. I think we were talking about the convention that happens in North Carolina during Starrcade Survivor Series. Thanksgiving is what I meant to say. I would like to see Ray Fury come back to the NWA. He'd be a great addition to the NWA Junior Heavyweight Division. Ray Fury did not have enough time in the NWA. We got to see him wrestle a dark match that never aired on Power from Nashville shortly after the 75th anniversary show. And then he had one more match on television. I would have liked to see more of Ray Fury. I don't know if I'm going to say he would be a great addition to the NWA, but I think he'd be something different. And I'm always about seeing something different. The junior heavyweight division, as it stands right now, needs all the help it can get. I feel like the NWA right now is kind of in flux. I feel like every division is in peril. And I'm not saying that it's do or die time, but I feel like a lot of the roster, hey, look, there are a lot of companies out there in the sport of professional wrestling. The NWA has competition not only from the WWE and AEW, but TNA, MLW, United Wrestling Network, and all these other companies. And not just in the U.S., but also abroad in Japan, in Mexico, in the UK. They are fighting everybody to get talent. And, I forgot out GCW, but you can't forget them because they run probably more than most of the other promotions that are on the same level. And it's difficult to get these guys locked up. It's difficult to have these guys show up. So what I'm going to say is this. The NWA has this territory system, and they are filtering talents up through it. But they should lock up some of these guys who are out there. They brought the Colognes in, but as far as I know, they're not locked up. I think they just came in for the TV taping. They brought in Mike Mondo. We don't know what's going on with Mike Mondo. We haven't seen him on TV yet. But as far as I'm concerned, I feel like the NWA, they need a lot of everything. They just need a lot of everything. And, I would start with a new booker, first and foremost. I would start with making the storytelling more lineal and less abstract. I would start having wins and losses mean something, and then basing title matches on those wins and losses. Let's just start. If that's Marquez's building, why has David not ran some UWN shows there? He has, Steve. The Commerce Casino hosted a few primetime live episodes. They did TV tapings for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. And like I said, the aforementioned mixed martial arts shows that Marquez has helped produce over the years. Again, it's not his building in that, it's only his building. But I know that he helped secure that deal for MLW. That's what makes me have a little sour grapes about it. California needs NWA Wrestling promotion there because California is getting cheated out of watching NWA Pro Wrestling. See, Willie, I don't know that the California market cares about the NWA. And I'm saying that as somebody who lives in this state. I'm saying that as somebody who, I used to work for SoCal Uncensored. I'd write about the NWA. It would get crickets. Nobody cared. And, of course, things have changed quite significantly since Billy's time as owner of the NWA. Sorry, got a little message here on my phone. Billy has done things very differently over the last few years. But I don't think he's done anything that would ingrain himself to the fans in Southern California. The wrestling is I don't want to say it's so unique to Southern California, but the NWA style focuses on heavyweights, focuses on guys who are 6 foot plus, 250 pounds plus. Jack Stain isn't the biggest guy in the NWA. Tom Latimer isn't the biggest guy in the NWA. He's the world's heavyweight champion. But these guys would tower over most wrestlers in Southern California. The EC3, who historically is one of the smaller NWA world champions in the last decade, when he came to California, he wrestled Honest John, who was a legitimate junior heavyweight, had a hell of a match, but there was nobody clamoring for that matchup. Nobody was, I can't say nobody. There wasn't a huge turnout for that matchup. I don't think California audience cares, and I'm not going to put that on Dave Marquez. I'm not going to put that on anything else. I don't think that they care about the NWA. And that's someone as somebody who lives in the state of California. I don't think they care about the NWA. Satoshi Kojima still does match in MLW. Yeah, Bobby, Kojima's still champion, I think. What is the status of UWN? I can say with very good authority that there are plans in the works for stuff. They will be doing more of the non-televised events at the improvs. That's the plan. I know there's been some changes to how those get set up, but that's still in the work. And if things go correctly, they'll be doing a live weekly television show with more information to come from that. And if that one touches down, if that happens, we're going to be looking at the United Wrestling Network in a completely different light. But it's got to happen before, all the great plans that the NWA has the United Wrestling Network has, they don't mean anything until they touch down. And that's, as a consumer, as a fan of wrestling, as a business owner myself, you can make all the great plans in the world, but until there's a result, until there's an ROI, that return on investment, whether it be more people watching the product, more people talking about the product, or just generally making more money doing these shows, nobody cares. Steve G, it's difficult, man. First of all, financially, the United Wrestling Network, Dave Marquez doesn't really talk about this. He hasn't really publicly announced it, but they had some financial issues. There was some money that was owed by some of the advertisers that didn't come through, and there was litigation, there was lawsuits, and a lot of that just kind of you need money to run pro wrestling. You can't do this at that level, on you can't nickel and dime pro wrestling. And when you do that, you don't have a superior product. Now, look, I'm not saying that you can't make money in pro wrestling. I'm not saying that you can't do a more economical version of wrestling. But Dave Marquez's wrestling has always been a studio environment. It's been wrestling for television. That's his goal. Not real, like he could do live events, but what does that get him at the end of the day? He's trying to do television. That's his goal. That's always been his goal. That's been his MO since he's been in California. That's been his MO since he's been in wrestling. Like WLW was a TV wrestling show. NWA, the NWA Pro Wrestling Showcase that came from Las Vegas, Nevada, was made for television. They did those matches at the Showcase Theater. Those were shot for television. Everything that Marquez has done has been shot for television, with the exception of the live arena events that they were doing, and those were sold to DVD distribution through Big Vision. So, all that to say is that the United Wrestling Network has been trying to get back to it. There's been some financial difficulties, but I think that in 2025 we're going to see some fun and exciting stuff. And you don't have to believe me, because I'm not entirely 100% sure that it's going to happen. I just know that these things are in the works, and that if they do hit, one of them, two of them, three of them, bam, you're going to be happy. And if you're not happy, I don't know what to tell you. We have a territory system now in the NWA. It's time to establish a booking committee to oversee power. Corgan's booking isn't it. It's not it. Rosville, it never has been it. It's been shit. And I don't know why people clamor for this. Like, I got to tell you guys, I had this conversation with my wife the other day. We're talking about Billy Corgan. Sam, yes. Dave did film that. That was essentially a Dave produced event, the 60th anniversary of Phillips Arena. Getting back to Billy Corgan's booking, I was telling my wife about, we were listening to XM radio. I'm a 90s guy, so I'm listening to Lithium, and they were playing Rhinoceros by the Smashing Pumpkins. My favorite Smashing Pumpkins song. I love that song. Everything about that song is terrific. Billy Corgan sounds great. Vocally, lyrics are great. Guitar is great. Love that song. If you told me the best Smashing Pumpkins song, that's what I'd pick. But when it comes to wrestling, I can't point out a moment that I thought was so perfect. Thank you, Encounters. I appreciate that. Thanks for the hat compliment. I appreciate that. Billy Corgan is an amazing musician, and he has gotten famous by being a musician that makes music that he enjoys. He is, without sounding arrogant or not sounding like an asshole, he's probably his own biggest fan. And he said that. Like, we've gone against the grain. We've made music that we've wanted to make. He doesn't go commercially and go see what's selling and tries to replicate it. He's always done his own thing, which is great. And he's found an audience with that. And there's a hardcore Smashing Pumpkin audience that loves him for that. On the flip side, Billy Corgan is producing a wrestling show that he wants to watch. It's a wrestling show that he thinks is great. It's his idea of what wrestling should be. And it's for an audience of one. Because I got to tell you, I don't know a single person in this chat. You guys can tell me right now, sound off on the chat, how many of you enjoyed this whole fiasco between Rolando and Eric Smalls? Go ahead. Everyone tell me how much you've enjoyed that storyline, that angle. Tell me how exciting it's been for you. Watching Spencer Slade wrestle Eric Small in Forney, Texas. Was that an amazing event? Oh, what's up, Cadillac? Chris Cadillac, Caddy. He's on the TikTok. Because I don't think it was good. I thought it was bullshit and bad. Spencer Slade is a guy who I'd be putting all my effort and energy into putting in that TV title and pushing him to the World's Heavyweight Championship. If I was running the NWA, Spencer Slade would be a guy that I'd be looking at to be the guy to beat Tom Latimer or EC3 for the 10 pounds of gold. It'd be a feel-good story. It'd be a good story because it'd be great wrestling, right? No. We have Spencer Slade wrestling against Eric Smalls, a legit little person. And I'm not trying to speak ill of Eric Smalls. He's very talented for what he can do. But come on, man. Who's enjoying that? Go ahead. Sound off in the chat. Tell me who's enjoying that. Yeah, I don't see anybody. Nobody's enjoying that shit. But we got like, we didn't just see it in Forney, Texas. It carried over to the 76th anniversary show. Thank God they left it off the territories. But then we got force-fed it again in Tampa. And it's probably going to lead to another matchup with Blunt Force Trauma and the tag team champions Murdochs. And I just don't think it's good booking. I don't think it's good storytelling. It's not getting anybody over. I don't understand the point of it. Hell, let's get back to Overmetal's favorite guy, Carson Drake, CBD. CBD wrestled Max the Impaler, the non-binary nightmare, the TV champion, the men's TV champion, and lost. And celebrated that as, well, Max couldn't beat me. Yeah, Max doesn't have to beat you. Max is the champion. Max still advances whether Max beats you or not. How is that good storytelling? How does that elevate Max the Impaler for beating Carson Drake? Max didn't, so they don't get over because they beat Carson. It didn't happen. Carson doesn't get over because he couldn't get pinned by Max. It did nothing for Carson either. The whole thing was stupid. And now they're going to have a rematch at Saw Win for the TV title. Great. Wonderful. Fantastic. Who gives a shit? It's terrible booking. I asked Danny Deals to come on the show. I booked him for next Thursday. I don't know if he's going to still want to come on. Marco Stunt is no longer wrestling. I feel like he just recently retired. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't love Billy's booking either. I think it's terrible. I think it's awful. I don't think it's a good idea. Sorry. I had to go off on that. I had to specify that because I don't think Billy books for you. I don't think he books for me. He's booking for himself. And that's okay. If you guys enjoy it, that's cool. I don't think he cares. Spencer Slade deserves better. Billy Corgan for Booker of the Year. Rolando should be a manager. Rolando, for all intents and purposes, is a manager. I don't think he's look in that role. In the right role, look, I don't like Rolando as a character. I'm not connected to him. I don't buy it. I'm not into it, but I could see some value as a manager. I could see some value even wrestling on occasion. Aaron Stevens is a manager, and Aaron Stevens looks and sounds and acts 10 times better than Rolando. Slade is the real deal. He is, man. Slade versus Colby. Now you're talking over metal. Now you're cooking, brother. I'd watch that. We'd all enjoy that. That'd be a great wrestling match. And you could get over one of these guys. Look, if Colby's part of the future plans for the NWA, then Colby should be getting put towards that title, towards the television title, towards the national title. I don't know if Colby Carino's ever going to be NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, but he certainly could be a mover and the shaker for the National Wrestling Alliance. And by God, there's no reason Spencer Slade isn't already moving and shaking for the NWA. I'm not sure why he booked Slade versus Small. Nobody knows why that's happening. Nobody knows why. I don't know why. Let me see here. More of your comments. Rolando would have been a great heel manager, just a Weasley little bastard. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly where he should be. He was really good with Colby Carino was kind of like the manager for a while for the Fixers, and it was funny and it was cool because you had these two big dudes with a junior heavyweight. That would be the formula that I would do for Rolando. Like, why is Rolando messing around with Spencer Slade? Why isn't Rolando managing the Fixers? They obviously need someone to guide them. And the Spectaculars isn't it, bro. It's just not it for me. It's not doing it for me. I'm not about it. Let's see. Carson Drake will wrestling to fit the JCP stud title. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Wrestling for the JCP stud title. Yeah, I like that. That's good. I can't take Max serious. So I'm not there yet. I'm not there to say that I can't take Max serious. I just feel like Max hasn't been used in a way that makes a lot of sense over the last few months, over the last few weeks, over the last year, to be quite honest with you. To me, Max should have been the way you build Max up. I feel like Max would have been best suited as an attraction. Holding the television title for over a year doesn't do it for me. I don't get why the NWA feels like everybody needs to hold a title for such a long time. You know, to me, it's a better idea if you're going to have a television champion that title should change hands. It should be a fluid belt. I think it's a belt that should go build people up to make them challengers for the world title. You know, like how awesome would it be if Billy said, okay, EC3, this is your last shot. You know, you got to work your way back up. So EC3 has to go win the TV title. And then you got Carson Drake trying to win the TV title. You got Spencer Slade trying to win the TV title because everybody wants that fast, quick route to the 10 pounds of gold. To me, that'd make it more meaningful. What's up, Double D? Has Rush Freeman retired from wrestling? I don't know, man. I know he's taken some personal time. I know his life kind of got a little chaotic over the last 6 months. And I feel bad for the guy. I don't know how much of that was his fault. I don't know how much of it was his partner's fault, his former partner's fault. I hope he's in a better place now. He seems to be doing well. I don't know if we'll see him back in the NWA. I kind of hope we do. I like rooting for the underdog. I feel like he could be a good underdog. How do y'all feel about B. Corgan changing the NWA name to Dog Pound Championship Wrestling? I don't think he has any concern or care about what Dog Pound calls itself. I think he has zero concern about that. For him, I don't think it's about anything more than just having a good relationship with Rodney Mack and Jazz. I think it's about trying to get the best, opportunities for the NWA going forward and having the opportunity to scout talent advanced. Giving opportunities to give that recognition to Jazz and Rodney, who have put so much time, effort, and energy in the NWA. I feel like it's a very symbiotic relationship, but I don't think he gives two shits of what they call themselves. Rolando is a waste of space. Not the best choices of talent to highlight with only a 40 to 45-minute show. No, and look, I feel like the other part of this, too, is we'll get to the show. I've got about 15 minutes to talk about it, but this week's episode of Power is kind of it's interesting. Well, look, we'll just get to it right now. Because this week on Power, we have a couple matches that have already been announced. Of course, Power. I believe these are matches from Sal Win. I'm not entirely sure. In fact, yeah, I do remember that if we go back in time, if we look at the Sal Win poster, yeah, okay, so we're in Sal Win now. Okay, that's interesting. So, of course, I think this might even be the main event of tonight is a triple threat match. Hollyhood Haley J, Natalia Markova, Kylie Paige. Now, they blew Markova's opportunity to be women's world champion. She wrestled against Kenzie Page. Tiffany Nieves interfered. Billy Corgan allowed it. He didn't stop it. He didn't say anything about it. So apparently that stands. And that kind of sucks for Markova. Booking-wise, you get it, right? Because Markova and Nieves have kind of been at each other's throat for a while. And look, Tiffany Nieves just wants a shot at the Burke. And she doesn't care who sabotages she has to damage. She doesn't care who she impacts to get that title match. She's very self-serving that way. So, sucks for Markova the way that match panned out. But Hollyhood Haley J has been saying she wants a shot at the title. Markova's been wanting a shot at the title. Kylie Paige is kind of like the odd woman out. Hold on just a second. just had to blow my nose, and I did not want you guys to hear that. Kylie Paige is the odd woman out here because I think even if Kylie Paige wins that title shot, she's not going to cash in on her sister. So I think she's there just to make sure that maybe Markova doesn't. And, so it's a very interesting way that this will play out. Obviously, the winner of this match goes to Looks at Kill as the number one contender. The next matchup, we have another number one contenders match, Talos and Daisy versus the Immortals. Now, historically, the Immortals have had Talos and Daisy's number. They beat them at the Crockett Cup. They beat them up all the time, really. They took the U.S. tag titles off of them. I really enjoy the team of Talos and Daisy Kill, and I enjoy the tag team of the Immortals. I think Odinson and Kratos are great, and I can't wait to see what's next for those guys. But I don't think that either one of these teams are going to take the belts off of Murdoch's. Trevor looks good as a world tag team champion, and it keeps him relevant by keeping him out of the title picture. And unless Mike Knox decides he wants to leave the NWA, I don't see any reason to take the tag titles off of Murdoch and Mike Knox. So there's that. Now this one is a little odd to me. The Country Gentlemen versus the Slimeballz and the Mystery Partner. I don't get the love that the Slimeballz. I don't understand them. I don't know why you guys think they're so over. Sage has been very interesting. His partner is suited for this NWA, but Sage is just Johnny Yuma Part 2 as far as I'm concerned. I don't feel like they're a great tag team. I don't know why we're bringing Joe Cazana into the mix on this one. Joe Cazana at the 76 said, "Hey, I'm ready for one more match," and I'm like, "This isn't that match, is it? Is this the match? This is going to be a retirement match?" Like I was hoping Cazana would get a good match on his way out. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll see something. I don't know. I feel like if we're going to retire Cazana, Joe Cazana's going to have his last match. Maybe that matchup would be fun against Ricky Morton. Or how would it bear with me here? Ricky Morton, Kerry Morton versus Joe Cazana and AJ Cazana. Or Kirt Cazana. I'm okay with either one. I'm flexible. I don't know if this is where I'm at, though. Lunch Break Chronicles. You can watch POWERRR on x.com/NWA. That's the only place to watch Power in its entirety. Now, they do put matches from Power and the pay-per-views. I guess they're not pay-per-views anymore. They put matches from the past up on the YouTube channel, so you can see matches from Power on YouTube, the NWA channel on YouTube. But extensively, Power as a program is only available on the X. Noob says, "I only watch NWA to see Markova in action." Noob, I'm so sorry, man. You don't get to see enough. Hopefully, pay-per-views will return in 2025. I wish. Tell me about Dan Parker. I met him. Dan Parker is an interesting fella, man. Dan Parker is Canadian. He showed up on Power years ago. Excuse me. He worked Power a few years ago. In fact, when they were still in Atlanta, at the first set of tapings, I got to see him wrestle there, and it was neat because he was one of those. It's one of the Dave Marquez guys. Dan Parker. Johnny Yuma at the time was a Dave Marquez guy. And he's a weird dude. I think he has a lot of chutzpah. I think that's how they say it. I think he could be a star, but I don't know if he's 100% committed to pro wrestling these days. Sean Vega says Haley J will win. Devin Dowling says, big fan of Tiffany. They shedding the NWA name for Dog Pound is a bad sign. What, Paladin? What do you mean, bro? I have no idea what you mean. It means they don't want to be associated with the NWA. I don't know what you're talking about. Explain yourself, Pal Adden. By the way, good to see you. I don't know why, but I started liking Daisy Kills and Talos recently. Because they're good. Daisy Kills is great, man. Daisy Kills could be this generation's Raven. He's already kind of got the Scotty Flamingo gimmick. He has the ukulele. I mean, I guess that's not Scotty Flamingo, but looks, style of wrestling. Like, he could be amazing. I'm going to tell you, I've totally flip-flopped on Daisy Kills. I'm all about that guy. He's another guy that I'd be pushing towards that TV title with Spencer Slade, Carson Drake, and EC3. Like, he's really good. It's Sam Hain. I'm going to call it Saul Win. His mama call him Saul Win. I'm going to call him Saul Win. Yeah, Double D, tell me who it's going to be. Slimeballz rule. Take me to Slimeballz City. Slimeballz need a name ASAP. I hate the Slimeballz. Yeah, I hate them too. Yeah, Daisy Kill needs a new wrestling name. Slimeballz rule. No lie, when he was in AEW, he had to change his name to Just Daisy. The Slimeballz are just a newer version of the Nasty Boys, only good in small doses, in my opinion. Use them more in the territories. See, what you guys don't understand is Dave Scoob is like a wrestling genius. You guys don't understand that, but Scooby knows what's up. Scoob knows what's up. Quote the Daisy, nevermore. Nice. So as we're running out of time, let's talk a little bit about the announcement that was brought. I'm going to bring it. One of those things. I don't know. Let's talk about the announcement about Joe Galli driving up a little bit from San Antonio to Forney to make the announcement at Red and Rowdy about potentially. Well, look, let's face it. Every time we see Joe Galli show up at an NWA affiliate, that member ends up becoming a territory. We saw that at WLW, and I think we saw it at Dog Pound. I think we're gonna see it this weekend. It's the worst kept secret in wrestling because look, TSW, when they finally agreed to become a territory member of the NWA, they were talking about it months ago. James Beard was talking about it. They were talking about it on their podcast. We've seen the branding coming from them. They've already been using some NWA talent, of course. Tim Storm, James Beard have a very close relationship. Baron Von Storm has been on their cards. Rodney has worked those events. Soda Pop Hendricks has worked those events. So it's not a big surprise that is going to be the announcement. It's the fact that it's happening before the end of the year, which means that this calendar year, we've seen a lot of growth in the territory system for the NWA. I'm kind of excited to see what's next. I can't tell you for sure what's going to happen, right? I don't know, but I feel like this is obviously another Texas member of the NWA. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I feel like they've already been competing in Forney, Texas. Having that NWA relationship, I think, is going to be good. So I think this is a great move for the NWA, great move for TSW. They have a very great studio. Their TV show looks pretty good. I don't see this as anything but good for the NWA. Paladin says, maybe I misunderstood as I was just coming in, but didn't you say that Jazz and Mac changed the name of their school to Dog Pound, shedding the NWA name? Paladin, that's not what I said. Dog Pound has always been the name of Rodney and Jazz's school, at least as far as I know. And I mean, that's a school that trained former host of the show. Sorry, I read the comments and got confused. That's the name of the school, has always been. And Dog Pound Pro Wrestling is just what they've called it. It's the school, and it's the wrestling promotion that's offshoot from the school. No, they became NWA recently, but it's still Dog Pound Wrestling. It's just NWA Dog Pound Wrestling. That's it. I think David Valentine said something, and I'll go back to what he said just to clear up the confusion. News, the new name is Dog Pound Wrestling Alliance. The NWA name is no more. I think that's just David Valentine being David Valentine. David Valentine has come in here lots of times saying things that just are not true. But we welcome him in the show because a lot of things he says are funny. TSW to invade Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, who is the official territory of Texas. They're both the official territory of Texas. There's no need for an invasion. That's the thing. It's an alliance. That's the thing. When Billy Corgan bought the NWA, he did the most backwards thing that you could do with an alliance is he made it an alliance of one. Up until that point, the NWA was always a member-produced organization. The NWA was never meant to be a promotion, but more of a sanctioning body. Like when we look at boxing, they have sanctioning bodies, not one particular promotion or one particular promotion. It was multiple promotions working together to recognize a single entity, a single title. That's what the NWA World Heavyweight Championship was always supposed to be. So when Billy Corgan purchased the NWA from Bruce Tharpe. Now, before Bruce Tharpe, the NWA was owned by the collection of members. There were multiple members who owned essentially stock in the NWA. And when Bruce Tharpe sued to gain control of the NWA, his company came in. So the members of the NWA prior to Bruce Tharpe were called Pro Wrestling Organization LLC, in which each member of the NWA was a shareholder in that company. When the NWA lost its lawsuit against Bruce Tharpe and his partners Fred Rubenstein and Chris Ronquillo, they formed International Wrestling LLC, took over the copyright of the NWA, and restructured the entire thing. So International Wrestling Company, IWC, became the NWA. And instead of having members, they had licenses. And then eventually Bruce bought out Fred, and then Chris left because he was afraid of getting sued out of the NWA. And then Bruce, who was the sole owner of the IWC LLC, sold to Billy Corgan. So for 1948 to 2012, the NWA was owned by the members. After 2012, it was owned by the International Wrestling Corporation. And after 2017, it was owned by the Lightning One Era LLC, which is owned by Billy Corgan. That's the breakdown. So when Billy bought the International Wrestling Corporation, he did not add any more territories. He did not licenses, however you want to call it. He got rid of all that. So the NWA quit being a sanctioning body and became one promotion. And then in the last year or so, they've started adding these alliances to the territories, these companies who were affiliated with the NWA, but now actually can call themselves the NWA as part of an alliance. It's kind of what it always should have been. And it was kind of like Dave Marquez said that it was one of the best things that Bruce Tharpe did was to consolidate the NWA into one company. And I don't know if I agree with that. Billy adding the territories, I feel like certainly brings it more to what the NWA used to be. I never liked the idea of one wrestling promotion being the NWA. I've always liked the idea that there's multiple promotions, and we're getting that again. So I hope that's a good enough wrestling history for you. Double D, Willie's joke was in the very beginning of the show, basically saying, good thing that Tyrus wasn't at my house for Thanksgiving. Yeah, I was like, what the hell is this guy talking about? No, look, David Valentine, like, I love that guy. He's welcome in the show all the time. Dog Pound Championship Wrestling is a fine name. NWA Dog Pound is fine. I think they were just Dog Pound Wrestling before. It doesn't really matter. They're part of the NWA. And there is only, there's two members of the NWA in Tennessee. There's one in Cleveland, Ohio. There's one in Chicago. There's one in St. Louis. And now there's two in Texas. And don't be surprised if another member pops up in Tennessee. Because, like, look, School of Morton is in Tennessee. Why aren't they a member of the NWA? They would be perfect for the NWA. You could send all of these new guys trying to make it in wrestling to go train with Ricky Morton. Or even the Pritchard Jacobs Wrestling Academy or Jacobs Pritchard Wrestling Academy, whatever it is. It's another company that should be associated with the NWA. Yeah. And a lot of what Bruce was doing, a lot of those promoters did put out their footage. That's something we should try to work on. Maybe. David, I said this earlier. I don't know if that the NWA needs to be in California because I don't feel like California cares about the NWA. And I say that as someone who lived in that era of the NWA being in California. Remember when Dave Marquez was promoting the NWA, Dave Marquez was one of the the biggest members of the NWA at the time, and he brought in everybody. He brought in the world champions, he brought in the tag team champions, North American champions, the national champions, the women's champions. He did it all, and nobody really gave a shit. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I love the NWA history and tradition, but I know that I am abnormal here. And especially with today's NWA, Billy Corgan's NWA is very different from what traditional Southern California wrestling is. Most of our wrestlers are under 6 foot. Most of our wrestlers are under 200 pounds. They would all be junior heavyweights in the NWA. You know, one of the biggest guys in the NWA, one of the biggest guys that the NWA had was Jordan Clearwater. And Jordan Clearwater's a big dude. He wasn't very big when he was an NWA wrestler. I mean, he was standard, right? Slice Boogie is the guy that's a mover and shaker right now in the NWA. In Southern California. When he was in the NWA, Bad Dude Tito, the current openweight champion for MLW, he's one of the bigger guys here in SoCal. He would be a lot smaller than some of the guys in the NWA. Remember, Bad Dude Tito wrestled Nick Aldis, and he was much smaller. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but I just don't see it happening. Nobody's clamoring for it. Like, Texas has a rich history with the NWA. The Mid-South area, Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, that has a rich, deep tradition with the NWA. Atlanta, North Carolina, all NWA territories, right? These are Florida. Yes, of course. California? Yeah, we had a relationship with the NWA. We had NWA Los Angeles. And in 1980, that dried up and became a Vince McMahon area. And it hadn't really been an NWA area until Dave Marquez tried it. And honestly, it didn't change the world. It didn't change California. Tim Wilcox, funny guy. I'm not sure who Brandon Lee is. I mean, Brandon Lee is, as far as I'm concerned, Brandon Lee was the son of Bruce Lee. Is there another Brandon Lee I'm missing? Double D, did the Young Bucks ever work NWA? Yeah, they were. If you go and type in the NWA showcase, you'll find matches from, I think, like 2000, I want to say 6 or 7, 2008. 2008, and you'll see the NWA showcase. Their big sponsor was the Blue Demon energy drink by Coca-Cola, and the Young Bucks were definitely working those dates. I don't think that the Young Bucks were never going to be big names in the NWA, but they were around when the Skull Crushers were the World Tag Team Champions. Blue Demon was the World Champion. Phil Shatter was your NWA North American champion. No, national champion. And Apollo was your NWA North American champion. Good times. But yeah, they were kind of like opening match guys. They were great. They were fun. But yeah, I don't think they wouldn't have fit in with the current NWA today either. Dave Marquez is a good dude. Love that guy. Have nothing but the best to say about Marquez. Feel like he gets a lot of bullshit for a lot of dumb reasons, but I think the wrestling world is better with him. Brandon Lee works Exodus Pro. Okay, I got to look more into Brandon Lee. I don't know much about him. So, Tim Wilcox, I need to see more of Brandon Lee. I apologize for not being more familiar with him. Exodus Pro. Yeah, Exodus Pro, I feel like, Dante, I feel like he should be on Power now. PB Smooth has a very interesting look. I don't know how I would use him on Power, but I feel like he should be there as well. Richard Holiday should be World Heavyweight Champion right now. I mean, I love Tom Latimer, and I hope his reign lasts long. But Richard Holiday is the best guy who's not signed to AEW or WWE at the current moment, and I don't know why. I don't get it. But if I were the NWA, he'd be the guy that I would be putting my money and effort and energy into. So it's 3:05, guys. Go to X right now, x.com/NWA, and check out Power. We'll be back here on Thursday to talk about all things NWA. I missed you guys last week. I'm glad you're here spent your time with me this Tuesday. And, of course, I'll be back with you on Thursday to talk more NWA. If you want to help support the show, please like, comment, subscribe, and leave a comment after the video. It helps the algorithm. And if you want to help support the show financially, we have a merchandise with a growing line of merchandise, hats, t-shirts, bottles, fanny packs. We got those too. And if you don't want any of that stuff, maybe you need some energy drink. We are proudly partnered with Dubby. They are a very clean energy. I had some Dubby while I was on the island because I couldn't bring cans of Monster or, and the Monster that was on the island was like $12 a can. So forget that. I brought my Dubby and I had my Beach and Peach while I was there on the island. Good stuff, kept me going. If you don't want that, hey, we also have a partnership with Trophy Smack. They're the ones who make fantasy sports titles and trophies for fantasy sports, for businesses, employees of the month, student of the month awards, all that good stuff. If you need to recognize an employee or a fantasy sports team, they're a great partner to be with. You can get a title made. We're gonna get a title made in 2025. Been dragging my feet, but I'm gonna pull the trigger soon. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here. Go watch Power, and until next time, we'll see you at the matches. Good night now. Thanks for checking out the Pre-Party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. You should hit that subscribe button and join our community. I also want to remind you that we recap NWA POWERRR every Thursday at 8 p.m. in the live stream. We try to stay social, so find us at the Alliance blog. And until next time, we are the Alliance.